not its true name. The business started by analyzing customer healthcare data. Kumbaga, kinonsolidate nila yung mga data na may mga sakit, may mga ganyan all throughout. And of course, data is information. Information is power. Anyone who has data information technically has power. If there's one thing more valuable than your credit data is your health data. Bakit mas mahal ang health data? If you do your research, bakit mas mahal ang health data kaysa sa credit data nyo? Credit data yung mga password mo sa mga accounts mo sa mga... Bakit mas mahal ang health data? Bakit kaya? Any ideas? Yeah. Bakit? Bakit mas mahal ang health data nyo? Yung mga data ng yung mga sakit, ng mga previous illnesses mo, bakit mas mahalaga yon? Mas mahal kung ibebenta kumpara sa credit data mo, paano ka gumastos?
Kasi sir, magagamit na siya for institutions. For example, similar process ng sakit na lang gamit siya sa research para gumawa ng solution or
health data cannot be undone. Nagkasakit ka. By knowing the correlations of your health data, malalaman ko, makakagawa ko ng profile kung anong klaseng tao ka. Are you a healthy person, unhealthy person, ano ba sakit mo? Marami kang kayang gawin if you have that health data. So anyway, health data, just to paint a picture, is far more valuable than financial data. Kasi financial data, once na masimulan ang account mo, pwede mo naman palitan. Okay? Toto pa. Anyway, Oracorp began with 2 founders and a brilliant product. They were running fast, mabenta yung produkto. It focused on sales kasi bago pa lang sila code and surviving the week. Okay? Kumbaga weekly basis sila pero ang dami nila na-produce. But as the team grew to 50 people, decisions became inconsistent. Tumadami na sila, di na magpaiba-iba ng mga decision ng ibang tao. Some managers favored friends, others hid mistakes. Then the founders realized that while they were managing the work, no one was governing the company's soul. They needed to define the right way before they lost their way. Maliit na organization, mabenta, from 2 people, naging 50, kaso dahil yung mga 50, kumbaga, pasok pa sila ng pasok ng tao weekly just to produce, di na sila naging consistent. Walang single identity. So going back to the question of introduction, baka ito na yung sagot niya. Hindi sagot niya. How do we distinguish between simply running a business and actually steering an institution? Execution versus oversight. At tandaan natin, okay? Management focus on the daily run. Kumbaga, yung pang-araw-araw lang, mangyari ngayon, of operational efficiency. Whereas governance provides the strategic steering through high-level oversight and direction. Good governance is not just a daily thing. Pag nagawa ko itong kailangan kong gawin sa checkbox ko, okay na ako. Paano bukas? Paano bukas makalawa? On the other hand, good governance is leading. Kailangan yung ginagawa mong desisyon ngayon, kahit hindi mo pa nakikita yung bunga, ay may impact in the next 5 years. Isipin mo lang, good governance is like planting a seed. Nagtanim ka, diniligan mo. That's the daily operation. Di mo nakita tumubo. Sa tingin mo, palpak na? No. Tuloy-tuloy ka lang. Pagdilig, doing the things, right, and that, whatever you are investing and doing right now has an outcome in the next 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 years. That's good governance. Okay? It is not just doing the daily things. It is making sure that you're guiding. You're looking forward ahead. Yung madalas sinasabi, reactive, proactive. It's more proactive kung tutusin. Right? So good governance, it's not just on the daily run, it's being strategic. Okay? Profit versus social obligation. Okay? A true institution moves beyond a singular focus on profit to adopt a core ethical framework that seeks to benefit society at large. Hindi lang for profit. I raise the question, are you for profit or are you for integrity? Most of you answer integrity. I assume na lahat kayo in-answer nyo is integrity, right? So, good governance is not micromanagement. It should provide the guardrails. Di mo lang micromanage. Hindi porkit nagagawa mo yung mga kailangan gawin. That's good governance. social responsibility is not a marketing side project. We don't just put in our business that we are trying to be socially responsible, right? It's a strategic obligation. And governance is not to check the box, as I mentioned before. Okay? Yeah. Governance replaces the founder's intuition with a formal system of rules, practices, and processes designed to direct and control the firm's consistency. So, to answer the question, baka may sagot na rin kayo mamaya, how do we distinguish between simply running a business and actually steering an institution? You're not just trying to manage, you're trying to lead. O ngayon, explain nyo kung ano pinagkaiba ng dalawa. Group 1, naalala? Binigay ko rin yung sagot eh. Nakatok si Joanna. Okay, so, how do we distinguish between simply running a business and actually steering an institution? The difference between managing and leading. Okay? We have our tendencies to manage. Normal lang naman yun eh. Pag nagkakagulo, gusto natin gawin lahat na kaya natin gawin para hawakan sa leg at igay agad. But that's not leading. Leading is setting the good, the right environments, the right words, the right motivation para yung taong hinahawakan natin sa leg, grabe naman, hindi na natin kailangan hawakan sa leg, magkukusa na siya. More, less is more. Kumbaga. O yun ang sagot ha, habayan nyo na lang. Okay, so the problem with yung nangyari sa kanina, decisions were made by a founder's intuition, yung anong pwede lang mangyari on the moment, ano yung demand sa linggo na to, paano natin ma-resolbahan yan, yung kanina nangyari sa Oracorp. And the conflict was that habang nagpapasok sila ng mas maraming tao, hindi consistent na yung mga standards. Diba? Kumbaga, ma-solve lang natin problema natin sa ano na to, sa linggo na to. Managers, so what happened in doing so? Managers were hiding mistakes and favoring friends because there were no formal rules. Okay? So, Oracorp is successful but messy. What must the founders change to ensure that they are genuinely accountable? Ano kaya pwede gawin ng organization para ma-establish nila yung accountability? Tatawag na ba ako? Anyone? Sige, ito.
Siguro sir, sa case ng our corporate, nag-reshape ko nila yung structure, organizational structure, and para i-clear din po yung goal ng each and everyone. Para po, mas clear din po yung objectives na ginagawin sa everyday. At ano po yung scope ng responsibility.
Structure, role, responsibility. Structure, role, responsibility. That's one example of being able to distinguish by simply running the business and actually steering an institution. Set the standard, set the grounds. Sulat mo, ilagay nyo on paper, ano ba tong organization na to? Sino bang manager? Sino bang leader? Ano kailangan niyang gawin? Ano mga hindi niya pwedeng gawin? Okay? And what are the elements? Ano yung mga responsibility ng people within that? Alright, so part 2. As Oracorp encountered its first significant challenge when a manager lied to a client to conceal a shipment delay. The founder realized that without transparency, okay, kasi tinatago-tago lang nila eh, their promise was a lie. Okay, they promised to be ethical and true, but without transparency, naging sinungalingan lang. They decided that to be genuinely accountable, they needed a glass house policy. Glass house policy. Sa madaling salita, everything that moves within the glass house, nakikita, naririnig. So, ganun ang policy nila. Where every decision had a clear owner and a visible record. Kumbaga natitrace nila bawat decision. So, yun yung ginawa nila in part 2. So, that's the principle. A while ago, when I raised the question, what are the non-negotiables to prove that we are acting on good faith, na-mention yun yung mga non-negotiables, yung mga value, there should be a trinity of proof. It's called a trinity of proof where there's accountability, okay? Kumbaga, alam mo kung kanino ka responsable, transparency, pinapakita mo paano mo ginagawa, kung saan ka meron, saan may labi, saan may kulang, saan kaya, saan hindi. And inclusiveness. And when you say inclusiveness in an organization, wala kang ina-exclude. Kasi inclusiveness. Sinasama mo lahat ng mga people responsible, particularly stakeholders. These are the primary criteria in an organization used to demonstrate that an organization is acting on good faith. Okay? So yun yung tanong what are the non-negotiables that prove that we are acting good faith? Values. Good values. Because without values, we're savage. Without values, we're running things at our own intuition. Without values, wala tayong guide. And without values, when no one is watching, you are not doing. Okay? Sector neutrality. Whether in the public sector, sa gobyerno, or private sector, these key governance principles remain the universal standards of integrity. Do you remember what integrity is? What is integrity? Yes, doing the right thing, the right way, even though no one is watching. That is integrity. Structural integrity. Key governance principles are not suggestions, hindi na siya suggestions, hindi na siya sinasabi, depende sa sitwasyon. Structural integrity, they are fundamental standard of proof. And when there is proof, there is evidence. Hindi lang salita, gawa. Okay? Standard proof required to build trust with stakeholders. Trust, grabe, may hugot ah. Trust, it's not just saying, it's not just, writing. Trust is acting, doing. The foundation of trust, before you could say it, is doing the things. Kailangan mo gawin. And yes, even though mabibreak mo yung trust na yan, you don't go out and saying na, ito gagawin ko, ganyan, ganyan, para makabawi. Kailangan mo pakita na bumabawi ka. Alright? Hugot, grabe. Okay, so, back tayo sa problem. The problem, OraCorp operates as a black box. Familiar ka with the term black box? A black box organization is kanya-kanya. Kumbaga sa departamento, literal and figuratively, nakakahon sila, di ba? Kunwari, ang marketing department may ginagawa sila sa kanila lang, na hindi alam ng accounting, na hindi alam ng sales. And it does happen in an organization na walang transparency in communication. Di ba? Yung naghihiwalay-hiwalay. Lalo na kung ang isang organization ay malaki. It happens that the bigger an organization becomes, the more division and seclusion happen. Diba? Nangyayari, minsan sisihan nga, sasabihin ng kunyari, research department, ay kasalanan ng marketing department to, ganyan. That's called being a black box. Right? They operate as a black box where decisions rely on founder intuition and handshake deals rather than recorded data. Kanya-kanyang transaction kada department. Okay? So that was a conflict. There was a culture of silence as emerged. Without formal rules, managers are hiding errors and favoring trends, undermining the company's social mission. So the question, what must the founders do to show transparency? Anyone? Except you? Ano kaya pwede gawin ng founders para ipakita na transparent sila? Mawala itong culture of black box. Maging open sa decision, yes. How could they do that? yung sumagot ka, pinahirapan pa kita. Pero tama yun. Tanong lang is, paano? Paano pa? Paano ka maging open sa mga decision na ginagawa? How could you show? Ano yun?
Para may tutulad sa decision making ko, sir, kailangan ko naman sila ng opinions and should listen to their opinions.
Tama. Communicate. Tanong ka. Kasi, communication is not monologue. Alam niyo yung monologue, isang tao lang nagsasalita. Communication is a dialogue. Meaning, I speak, there's message, the person receives, decodes, and interprets. But if I speak at parang tumatalbog lang, that's a monologue. That's a black box. Literal and figuratively, nasa kahon ka na tumatalbog lang yung communication. So para magkaroon ng involvement, ng participation, ng inclusiveness, is that we create channels where people can communicate. Okay? Kasi there would come a time na magiging leaders kayo at kung kayo yung type na leader na pag hindi nyo gusto yung opinion ng isang inaarangan nyo na, who knows na baka tong grupo na to ay gumagawa na ng sarili nilang paraan. So, open tayo with communication. This is very important, okay? So, going back to your midterm question, what are the non-negotiables that prove that we are acting good faith? We follow core values, ethics, we communicate, we be inclusive. Diba? Yung mga sagot ko, wala namang strictong parang gamitin nyo lang yung creative nyo. Right. Part 3. So, OraCorp now is a global entity. Founders realized that they could no longer watch every departments themselves, black boxing, di ba? To stay accountable, they establish a board of directors. So hindi na sila small business, they become, dahil may board of directors, ano na sila, corporation na sila, and formal audit committees. Meaning may mga third parties na pupunta sa business to check and have oversight. Right? They look at various models from the efficiency of corporate structures to the mission focus of NGOs. Efficiency of corporate structures, meaning may mga departments, to the mission focus of NGOs, meaning it's linear. To design a system where doing the right thing was the only way to operate. So napansin na nila yung mga departments nagkakanya-kanya. Now they try to choose a model that would help them to allow communication to happen and transparency to happen. Going back to the question number 3. Which structure best supports our promise to the public? In many ways, an infrastructure of trust. Corporate governance framework provide the essential oversight and reporting lines required to protect shareholders and stakeholders and shareholders' interests. Corporate governance oversights. These include audit committees. Pwede ka magpasok ng audit committee sa iyong organization. Para lang may third party. Para lang may third party na nakikita yung hindi mo nakikita. Independent groups that verify financial honesty. Whistleblower hotlines. Naalala niyo to, whistleblower hotlines? Group 3 na nag-present. Sino ba group 3 uli? Alala mo to? Hotlines. Hindi mo na maalala? Sa report yan. Anyway, kung may mga reklamo ka, doon kayo pwede tumawag. At ano kayo, protected ng identity. Independent directors, board members with no company ties to provide objective third-party oversights. So those are examples of frameworks that you can do to ensure lang naman that you are keeping your promise to the public without putting in personal desires and intentions na pwedeng makabahid sa goal of company. Another one, model adaptability, while models vary, public, private, or NGO, the core requirement for structural integrity remains identical. Clear boundaries of power and responsibility. What are these models? Corporate model, accountable to shareholders via board of directors. Okay. Public government, accountable to citizens via civil service or oversight bodies. NGO, non-profit, accountable to donors, mission via board of trustees. Your framework should be able to identify ano ba yung key stakeholders na inaano mo, na tinutulungan mo. Kung corporate, shareholders, for profit ang hinahabol. Kung public, sa mga citizen, without earning profit as much as possible. NGOs and non-profits, para sa mga donors and mission and the board of trustees. Going back to the question, ito, institutional liability. Another one. Frameworks move accountability from good people to good systems, ensuring the organization's standards survive leadership changes. Bylaws and charters, ito, written rules and define power and prevent abuse. Pag alam kung ano ang responsibility, kung ano lang kaya at pwedeng gawin ng isang leader, the tendencies of going beyond that is low. Pero syempre, may mga nag-aano pa rin, may mga nag-a-abuse ng power nila. The more risk reductions and more channels you have to ensure to prevent this from happening allows a corporation, for example, to ensure that the leader is not being corrupted. Succession planning. Klaro na pag tapos na ang leadership ng isang tao, saan siya pupunta? SOP, standard operating procedures, rules that ensure the right way is followed regardless of who is in charge. Okay, so the problem, sa OraCorp, the global expansion has made personal oversight impossible. The founders can no longer be everywhere at once. Ang naging conflict, good intentions don't scale. Local offices are prioritizing regional profits over the company's core ethical values. So ang naging challenge, when a leader's personal integrity can no longer reach every office, what specifically ensures the right way is followed even when no one is watching? Grabe yun. Ha? Nahirapan ka na? Oh, go! Please. Akala ko na kung gano'n ang binabasa mo talaga eh. Oh, anyway, pasimple natin yung question, okay, para makasigurado na bawat leader is doing things with integrity. Naantok na kayo, no? Kunti na lang, malapit na tayo. Masagot nyo lang yan. Ano kaya paraan para makasigurado na bawat managers na lang, for example, they are doing things with integrity, meaning kahit di sila pinapanood ng owner, alam ng owner na ginagawa ng manager yung kailangan niyang gawin, even though no one's watching. How?
Pwede din kaya sa like, through evaluation and rewards. Para even if now is not physically monitoring sa natin yung ginagawa sa
Evaluation systems. Kung familiar ka with 360 evaluation systems, pwede yan nag-evaluate sa manager, mga empleyado, for example. Pwede rin yun para makasigurado.
Like, sir, orientation and tasking.
Mm-hmm.
Orienting your, as a manager,
Mhm.
on what we need to do for the owner, is to grow the company. Like, hindi alam ng owner.
Rules and bylaws. Rules. Kung alam ng manager ang rules, okay? Hopefully, acting on good faith na ginagawa niya kung anong sinabi sa rules. And the moment that manager signs that paper and agrees to do that, that manager is now liable with his actions. Therefore, anything that he does outside of what is written is unethical. Mali. Sinulat sa papel, anong kailangan mong gawin, ano ina-expect sa'yo, sa anong oras, sa anong paraan, at kailan. At any moment na hindi mo gawin, nagkakamali ka. Siyempre, may mga oversights dyan, maraming paraan, pwedeng ini-evaluate ng empleyado, pwede yung talagang hardcore na may mga CCTV pa, na mga ganun na, just to make sure that, you know, na ang taong binigyan mo ng responsibility, ginagawa nyo kailangan nyo gawin. Okay, last na to. Number 4. Kasi dahil 4 na kailangan natin kunin. Oracorp finally has the chance to enter a massive new market. The deal is worth millions. But there's a catch. A local official wants a bribe to overlook the environmental damage. In the old days, this could have stayed a secret. Yung mga dati nilang panahon, kasi kanya-kanya lang naman sila. Okay lang, sige, okay lang. Kita rin naman yan technically. But because of the audit committee na ginawa nila nung kanina, nag-incorporate na sila ng audit committee and whistleblower hotlines, the secret is out. Nalaman ng sistema that meron risk. Now, the board of directors faces a choice. Nalaman ng board of directors na may possibility or may gumawa na ng bribery. Do they listen to the system and walk away for the money, para sa pera ba, or do they bend the rules just this once? Papalipasin ba nila o gagawa nila ng action? So, dumaan sila doon. Oh, yun yung story nun. Which brings me to this question. Which is more important, profit or integrity? Ato, sure ball, makukuha nyo na to, sagot na to. So, it depends. Kung ano sagot, it depends. It depends upon the organization that you are into. Pero, for me personally, integrity is very important. But depende sa situation eh. I won't say that this is just black and white. Minsan things are gray. May middle ground eh. Minsan for a sinking organization, para masustain ang sarili nila, kailangan nila mag-turn into profit. But I am not suggesting that people do corruptive and falsified lies para magawa yun. Minsan kailangan mo na talaga mag-focus sa profit eh, para lang maangat ang organization eh. Pero, as much as possible, focus tayo sa integrity. Which brings me to the way we view things. Ethics. Okay? I mentioned this before. Utilitarianism. Utilitarianism. Alala nyo kung ano yun? Ha? Wala na? Utilitarianism? Okay? So, it's a way of looking at a situation based on the results. The strategy is cost-benefit analysis. This lens focuses on the consequences it has. Does this action create the most happiness for most people? Itong desisyon na to, mas marami bang makikinabang kahit meron tayong nasasagasaan na isa? This is the usual question. Ang mas importante ba ang well-being ng 1,000,000 tao versus one person who has to die? O, hirap, di ba? Kaya hindi ako nagtuturo ng ethics eh. Pero yun yung tanong ng utilitarianism. ang focus mo is providing maximum benefits at the exchange of, sometimes we compromise for other people. Again, it depends. It depends. Yun ang titignan ng utilitarianism. And of course, there's a risk, the red flag. If we look at this situation with a utilitarian lens, it could be used to justify small evils for big profits. Pwede tayo magpadulas dyan ng onte kasi ang dulo naman nito, mas maraming makikinabang. Tama o mali? Ako, personally, I would still say na mali. There was some people would subscribe to this lens and use that. So the sales team used this lens to argue that the bribe was palit lang naman, small price to pay for a contract that would fund a new communal hospital. Another type of ethic to view this is deontology, rules. So, di malala, deontology. Okay, universal principles. It focuses on the duty. It asks, is this action right or wrong according to the rules regardless of the outcome? Ano duty ng organization? So, kahit anong mangyari, tumakbo ang mundo ng pabaliktad, magkabalik-baliktad, ang frame of reference mo as ethic is ano ang duty mo, anong trabaho mo. Yun ang North Star mo. Kahit mawala ka, di mo alam kung anong gagawin mo, mas maraming makikinabang o hindi, ang titignan mo is ano yung duty mo, ano yung ina-expect sa'yo. That is deontology, duty-based ethics. Set it creates a red line that cannot be moved by money. Ibig sabihin may guide, may North Star, may red. Ito yung daan na natatahan ko kahit anong mangyari. The independent directors use this lens. They argue that a bribe violates the standard of proof of good governance, so the deal is dead. So, yun ang pag deontology. If utilitarianism looks at the maximum benefit para sa maraming tao, deontology looks at your duty. Another one is virtue ethics. Okay? Virtue meaning the identity. The mirror test. This lens focus on the character of the actor. It asks, is this what an ethical leader or a responsible institution would do? This one, virtue ethics, Aristotle, if I'm not mistaken, looks at your character. Beyond duty, beyond the maximum benefit, what is your character? Yun ang tinitignan. What are your values? As I mentioned a while ago, kahit magkabali-baliktad ng mundo, mawala ka, ikot-ikot na, ang guide mo in doing things are your characters. And of course, characters are subjective, characters can change, but nonetheless, hopefully, your characters provide the maximum good out of the circumstance. Utilitarian, pinakamadaming pakinabang. Deontology, ano ba deontology? Yung duty, virtue, ano yung values mo? Okay? Take notes, ha? The legacy, this shows that a business becomes an institution. It's about who you are, not just what you do. The founders use this lens. They realized that if they took the bribe or a corp would no longer be the company, they said. Okay. The problem, 3 different lenses are giving 3 different answers to the bribe dilemma. The utilitarians want the money for good, the staff, the deontologists want to follow the law, the virtue ethicists want to produce the company. So the challenge is, if you are on the board of directors, which lens would be the final criteria for accountability to the public? If we're talking about accountability, how would you look at this decision? And in what lens of ethics ang gagamitin? Anyone? Last na to, naantok ko si Miss Yuki, oh. Si Yuki. Anyone? Para makano na tayo. Virtue, utilitarian, deontology, virtue ethics. Pag deontology, kumbaga keyword lang deontology, duty. Anong duty mo? Anong trabaho? Anong sinabi sa yung kailangan mo gawin at nag-agree ka? Yun ang duty. Pag virtue, ano yung personal values mo at ethics na susundan mo? Ha? Virtue? That's one example. Why? Bakit virtue? Deontology, duty. Kasi yung duty organization eh. Duty na organization para gawin yan, di ba? Beyond just profiteering, di ba? Kung virtue, bakit virtue? Hindi, kasi may sinusundan na core values ng organization. Alright? Alright, so to end this discussion, para makapag-midterms na tayo, binigay ko na yung tanong, perfect tayo ha. Perfect yan ha. Kayang-kaya yan, ano ko ba? Okay, trust is the currency of the modern market. In 2026, I would argue that reputation is your biggest asset and also your biggest liability as an organization starting now. Why trust and reputation? Why trust? Right? Because right now, with the access of all types of media, social media for example, madaling malaman kung mabuti o masamang tao ka. Ang problema, kahit pinoproject mo na mabuti ka, lahat tayo may paraan para makita. Minsan may mga tao na gumagawa ka ng 99 na tama at tinitignan nila yung isang mali. Ay, may hugot. Grabe. So right now, trust is the currency of the modern market. Whatever happens in your organization, you must do. You must project. You must value. You must encapsulate trust as much as possible. Oh, sinabi ko na pala eh. In 2026, a company without accountability will have no customers. Marami na tayo natutunan sa mga kurakot. Marami na tayo natutunan sa kapalpakan. Bakit pa natin uulitin? Bakit pa natin tutulungan? 2. Inclusiveness is the ultimate risk management strategy. Bakit? Kasi by allowing inclusiveness, ang pananaw natin, hindi lang dalawang mata, dahil marami kayo, maraming mata. Literal, saka figuratively. So kung ako nagkakamali, may nakakita. Kung siya nagkakamali, may iba nakakita. So for an organization, to make sure that they are reducing risk, inclusiveness is needed. Having every stakeholder present at the table reduces the likelihood of overlooking a red flag. The more stakeholders you involve in an organization to ensure good governance and social responsibility, it's not just a producer and a customer. Meron tayong employees, meron tayong local governments, meron tayong community. We make sure na bawat decision natin may nag-check, hindi tayo nagkakamali, at kung may magkamali man tayo, siyempre maraming titira sa atin, maraming bash sa atin, okay na yun. Basta alam mo kung ano kailangan mong gawin sa susunod. Okay? Build a system that makes it easy to do the right and hard to do wrong. Build a system that makes it easy to do the right and hard to do wrong. So this is where you incorporate good systems of managing. Are you leading? Are you managing? For example, kung ang sistema mo ay madaling sundan, klaro, malawak, at alam ng tao kung nasan sila at anong kailangan nilang gawin, walang ambiguity, walang overload. Because before, according to statistics, why employees burn out is because of ambiguity. You know what ambiguity is? Ambiguity is me having no idea what my job is. Magugulat na, oh, ako pala gagawa nito. What is overload? Ayun, for sure, alam niyo overload. Na, kung ano binigay sa'yo, sobra. So, ambiguity and overload, yun ang madalas na nagiging challenge. And if you build a system that reduces that, if not, eliminates ambiguity and overload, you know, it makes it easy to do the right things and to do the hard in a wrong way. Okay? The difference between a good system is you allow people to not only to do good, but not to make mistakes. Right? This is why we need audit committees, for example, and SOPs, standard operating procedures, paano gawin to remove the temptation of the wrong way. Rules provide the map, but character provides the engine. As I mentioned, kahit maganda sistema, kahit maganda yung ano natin, yung paraan natin, kung walang leader na nagli-lead, puro managers lang, ang problema sa managers, kung marami kayong nagtutulak sa likod, di nyo alam, baka iba-ibang direksyon na pala pagtutulak. Kailangan may tao sa harap para mag-steer. Right? Kahit marami kang managers, malakas, maganda performance, you're pushing, but you never know, maybe you're pushing towards a cliff because no one is steering. That's why rules provide the map, but character of a good leader provides the engine. Yan. An ethical rule book is useless without a leader who has a virtue to follow. Ay, tapos na. Test na tayo. Woohoo! Oh, dali lang. Grabe.